So, considering I've been taking a break today, I thought it'd be fun to go over absolutely everything that I've packed with me on my trip and, maybe just talk a little bit about why I have them and also talk about things that I would get rid of if I had the chance or if I were really forced to. So, we'll start real simple. Penetrex. My goodness, this came from my family friends, the Cubans. I got one bottle from them. My folks, when they visited me, gave me two more, which is probably excessive. I think two is probably enough for the whole trip, but I guess you can never be too safe with these. I mean, they work really well. I cannot believe how, frankly, like I should be limping way more than I am, but I've been able to power through way more than I would think. These guys right here, and actually the Vaseline is similar, these are all blister guard, different ways to prevent them, and also if you have blisters, make them feel a little bit more comfy in your shoes. These have been working really well, these sticks. My only issue is that I have not been reapplying them enough, and I also was not liberal enough with the entire surface of my foot because I did start developing a blister on my pinky toe and also like kind of on the sides of my heels, which I was not really thinking about, to be honest with you. So if I did that again, I would certainly be more generous with them. And I think the Vaseline is interesting. I haven't actually tried it out yet as much. Hard to say if it's better or worse than the sticks, but I brought it just in case. I have probably too much deodorant. I think the Axe Apollo, it's pretty bulky. That is something that I would cut if I could. In fact, let's move it to the side, make a little pile of stuff that I would cut. I think that these three Doves, they're small enough. And the nice thing about these small containers is that you can dispose of one when they're done with them, right? Like you don't have to worry about the entire case that's almost empty, which is also why I'm the same way with these sunscreen containers. They are metal, which makes them a little bulkier. I like this brand a lot because they're not plastic. Given the choice, I like to avoid microplastics, especially with stuff like sunscreen that's going to be exposed to the sun, though of course I am being very silly about that because I've got a lot of plastics with food and things that are going to get hot. So yeah, I guess I'm just a bit of a hypocrite. Don't know what to tell you. My wallet. Isn't it beautiful? My friend Spider Dude made this for me. It is leather, and it's got my little Scout salute, and it's got my Scoutmaster Demi logo, which is freaking cool. Toothpaste, probably could have gone with smaller ones. Maybe a couple of those. I like this brand quite a bit, though, so I don't know. Again, there's certain battles that I should be fighting. Again, I could get rid of that. I'm not going to, but I could if I needed to. Shaving cream, probably could get rid of it, though it's basically soap, so I figure soap is nice to have. Same with the disposable razor. Not strictly necessary, but it's not that, bulky or heavy. And I'd like to look kempt. I don't necessarily have to look clean every single day or smell clean every single day, but I would like to look kempt. This is a must. How else are you going to catch Pokemon? Okay, that's a must. Chapstick, though, not necessarily a must. You could live with chapped lips. I don't like it. It's small and lightweight, so I feel like this is worth the very minuscule trade-off. But you don't strictly need it, right? This guy right here is a supplement in case I'm feeling not alert. Although, frankly, all of this stuff down here, these are all different forms of like powdered electrolytes, which are crucial. That's probably the single biggest thing I really need as far as hydration goes. I've got these big old half gallons of water that I use them quite a bit. Now I will say the main way I've been consuming electrolytes have been in this pouch. You might be thinking, what the heck is in this pouch? Well, I actually don't know if I should even be opening this. It's gonna be hard to go through. A ton of nuts. I love nuts. I can already see the comments. And then these guys right here are capsules, capsule versions of electrolytes. So the great thing about that is you can just pop them in your mouth. They're pretty quick acting. In fact, if I could, I would prefer a whole bunch of those as opposed to these powdered versions because as you can see, it's not easy to get the exact ratio of water, let alone like the ability to stir them up. I have been just like slowly putting the powder in my mouth and just like consuming it with a bit of water. I hope that that's just as effective. I don't know if like the sort of physical process of like whipping it up is necessary for like the full, ability to be helpful for me. I sure hope not. Honestly, I like them the way they are. They kind of got like a little sour taste. When I was a kid, I used to eat Emergency the same way with my friends. Shout out if you remember that back at Fremont. So we've got other little snacks here. It's funny, there's a lot of dead space in bags like these, so I did think about like taking them all out and putting them in one bag, but honestly, space is not really an issue so much, especially things like these that can be folded. It's really just overall weight. That's the big thing. So if you watched that video that I posted yesterday, you'll know that I did take out the big 100-watt generator on my backpack, and instead I replaced it with this guy. This guy, though, I have to tell you, it is a fan, and it's got multiple settings, and it's also a portable charger, which lasts a decent amount of time. The only awkward thing is you do need one of the old USB-As, because I found that if I go for a USB-C, instead of charging my phone charges this. So I have found that a USB-A, funny enough, is necessary. And also I will say my brick is mostly USB-A. I'm too cheap to get a different version. So, for what it's worth, I can plug that in and get stuff charged. This is the real bad boy though. Okay, I swapped out the 100-watt generator for this. I don't know. I think it's INIU. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce it. That was sponsored. Thank you very much to them. I should really learn how to say your name if you're sponsoring me. It's incredible. It lasts freaking forever. And it's a fast charger too. This is not a fast charger, but it's convenient. Keeps you cool. I figure both of them together, that's plenty of power. I found that even in the past 3 days or so, I haven't been going through nearly as much power as I thought I would. And that's also why I have the second phone. I have an iPhone, like I'm recording this on an Android right now, but I have an iPhone that came from my Uncle Kevin, shout out to him. And that's been helpful for like an extra set of tracking. Yeah, I do have a physical GPS inside of my backpack for family and friends. I guess DM me if you'd like to track me too. The more the merrier. Yeah, that is an extra bit of redundancy. And then also, if my phone is running really low and for whatever reason charging is no good, I can use that. The other cool thing is the phone has like complimentary Wi-Fi. So like this on my Android is AT&T. The other phone is Verizon. So, between the two of them, most areas should have some sort of coverage, which is really helpful in the case of emergencies. This gum came from Instagram. It's actually really great. It does not last long as far as flavor goes. It does clean your teeth. I had a whole bunch packed. I did get rid of most of it with my folks. I just found I wasn't consuming as much of it as I thought that I would. I was thinking gum might help hydrate my lips or whatever, keep me clean. But yeah, I don't know, just wasn't reaching for it, so thought I'd remove it. I've got two of these. In fact, I'm using one mic right now. I am really bad about actually using them though, because they're a little janky in terms of connecting to my phone. So I've been really bad. I got to do it more because my audio has been kind of all over the place. This could go. I love my Surrey. It is very similar to Quip. If you guys have any toothbrushes like that are subscription based, but this one is more, sustainable. They replaced the tips of your toothbrush, so you're using less waste. They recycle them, which I really dig. The reason why I have this is not because I'm a granola eating hippie, although there is some granola and one could argue I'm a bit hippie-ish. The reason I have it like this is really funny though. I just didn't want to put a smaller toothbrush in a plastic bag. I really don't like putting stuff like that in my mouth, especially things that are gonna get hot. And I figured, you know what, if I'm gonna bring this thing, if I'm gonna bring like a container that will contain it all, I'm gonna bring this. Bad logic, you can make fun of me for it. It's definitely bulky and it's a bit awkward in that way, but it's not that heavy. I don't know, it certainly could be less heavy though, because it's plastic. This is funny. You would think, why do I need this plastic container for a chilling pad? Well, take a look at this over here. In fact, let's bring the camera over. This is what it looks like when it's dried. Okay, this is like one of the best things ever. It is like a moisture towel, and when you wet it, it gets damp and it becomes moldable, and you can put it to the back of your neck, which not only keeps you cool, but it also helps protect your neck from sunburn, which I have found to be the region that most needs it. In my case, might be the case for you too. So I have this because I do need to keep it malleable, when it's not being janky and super dried out and weird like that. And the nice thing is I can put stuff in there as well. I mean, a lot of these electrolytes can fit really easily. I don't need all these wipes on hand at every moment. So like you can throw some of them in there as well. So you can do a little double duty. I've thrown a few cables in there as well. The cables I don't use, all that often every single day, like my iPhone charger, which again, really annoying. I do love that an iPhone 14 was gifted again. Thank you, Uncle Kevin. But shame on Apple for taking so long to ship to USB-C. It's really annoying that I have to pack a freaking lightning cable or whatever the heck. But that is how it is. I'm cheap. Didn't want to get a 15 or 16. So, or I guess 17 is out nowadays too. These are blister Band-Aids. Probably have too many of them, but I figure they are so malleable. They're so light. The risk-reward ratio of having so much blister protection versus like the downside of actually getting a blister just makes me feel like this is a slam dunk. You probably can't overdo something like this because again, they're so light, they're so negligible in terms of space, in terms of weight, but getting a blister is game over. Like that's just like I'm dead. So like, yeah, very important. These are so cool. This is a new concept to me. Make fun of me if you've known about this forever, but also let me know if this is new to you. They look like dryer sheets, right? But they're actually laundry detergent sheets. So straight up, you just put them in water. They dissolve instantly. And it's like a soapy mixture that's perfect for cleaning your clothes. There's a million reasons why these are great. First off, so light, so malleable. I throw them in like backpack pockets and it's great. You can use just like half of a sheet. You can rip it off, or even like less than that in the case of a very small load. And you're totally good as far as that goes. And yeah, I don't know. I just think they're really awesome. I love everything about them. They're fantastic. And I will probably be using them in my everyday laundry as well. A million cables. Again, I wish I didn't have to bring the lightning cable. This is for that DJI microphone. You know, in my head, I was thinking, oh, I'd like sit down and do these long interviews with friends and family. And like in practice, I'm just so tired. I mean, who knows? It's only day 4. So like there may still be a good use for this. In fact, maybe towards the end of like Paradise or something, that will start to be a little bit more important. But, you know, for now, I'm kind of like, the microphones have a good battery on them. Do I really need to pack this? So I don't know. It's very light at the very least. Then again, we've got like USB-C Lightning, we've got C-to-C, and we've got an Apple Watch charger. This is pretty new to me, but this has been very invaluable. I wish the battery life were a little bit longer, though I can't imagine that Apple Watches are for, 9 hours of constant use, right? They're probably more engineered for less than that. And I did get it secondhand, so I'm sure a brand new one would be have a better battery life. These guys are awesome. So they're 64 ounces each. Together, they're about a gallon. I usually keep one completely empty and I dangle it on the back of my backpack. And the other one that I have, I just hold on hand and I fill it up. Whenever I take breaks to go to restaurants or things like that, I just fill that one up instead. The two of them together, though, are great because, in fact, they're going to be great for tomorrow because tomorrow is a deserty strip that's like a little bit off the beaten path. So I'm absolutely filling both of these up to the max. They are currently very full. Again, this one less so. I've been pounding it down. You got to make sure you hydrate the day before as well. And what's really cool too is these protective spots, not only are they going to prevent that metal exterior from like banging against the side of your backpack, but you got zippers, and I have been filling these with electrolytes and like little protein things. So it's really great. It's on hand because I'm holding it. And then again, they just, they can store a bit in it. If I wanted to get really greedy, you could even unzip the bottom part of that and you could fit some more stuff in there. Again, space is less of an issue. I've found that most of the things I have are really great in terms of space. One last thing that I've got here, very interesting, and this was a last minute pickup for my setup. I'm really glad that I did. It's called a Scrubbo wash bag. I do not always have like a laundromat available in a hotel or like a family friend's house or whatever. In fact, like tonight's a great example. I'm just in like a dinky little motel. This thing is great. Not only can you hold stuff in it, I've been using it to hold my dirty clothes when they're not clean, but essentially you can like scrunch them up together. They've got like that friction that helps wring out water. They're just like designed for portable washing. You throw in one of these guys. It's great. So really, really awesome stuff. Oh, and I guess the last thing too, these were a gift from a good friend of mine. Shout out to my friend Greg. These are Meta glasses. So not only are they polarized, which is great for the heat and for like helping prevent a little bit of sun damage on my face, they play music, which is awesome because I've been using wired headphones, which I believe I've got here. I hate these. These are a new pair that I picked up that sound worse. They were expensive. I got them at a gas station. Unfortunate, but whatever. These guys, though, they can play music. They sound decent. I mean, they sound better than this. And these go directly in your ears. So, like, that's crazy. So Bluetooth, you can connect them. So you can use your USB port for charging. And they take pictures and videos as well, which I have been really bad at, to be honest with you. It's not my go-to feature for these because, as you can probably notice by now, I like to take horizontal videos. I'm less interested in like vertical shorts, but these are like, actually, I guess they're not even vertical technically. They're more like 1x1 squares, like Instagram kind of style. But anyway, long story short, they're great for a lot of reasons. I wish the battery life were a little longer, but they've always been helpful on just about every single day. Now we're going over to clothing. More boring. I have a second pair of pants that I'm wearing. I was really afraid that if I took my pants off and, maybe I'd show, anyway. I'm wearing one set, that's all I gotta tell you. Imagine in your head a second set for precaution. We've got multiples of the exact same style of shirts. I've got 2 long sleeves, 1 short sleeve. I'll even show you right here. That's my shirt, very cool. Shout out to my Uncle Kevin for helping me print these. I created the design and he helped me print them, which was great. And shout out to Curtis as well. And of course, we've got boxers, we've got socks. Actually, I'll talk about those socks in a second. But we've got gloves, just in case. I'm a wimp with the cold. NorCal is fairly different than SoCal, and even Central California is different than SoCal. I'm a wimp with the cold. It is definitely going to get colder, especially since it is October. It'll be approaching November very soon. My trip won't even be over until at least mid-November, probably like the 3rd week. So just in case, I've got them. Same is true of my beanie. Shout out to anyone who understands where this beanie is from. I love it. These socks, I got 3 pairs. They're called Fitz socks. They are sponsored. And I got to tell you, I have never been more thrilled with a sponsorship because they deserve every penny and more. I have never, ever in all of my days been much of a sock thinker. I've never really pondered, good socks, bad socks, whatever. I always get, the cheap kinds or free kinds that are given to me as a gift, okay? Never again. I am converted. You should get good socks, okay? They're like maybe 18 or 20 a pair, which I'm sure sounds expensive, but they are not only incredibly durable, they've been so great at blister prevention for the most part. I am confident that my feet would be a million times worse without them. But the crazy thing about them is you can use like the exact same pair of socks multiple days in a row and not really feel moisture. I mean, it's staggering how great these are. And what's really cool is, even though that is the case, I get to play defense really well. So when I take breaks, when I sit on a bench or whatever, I will reapply some more of my anti-blister, lubricants for my feet. And then I'll also swap out a pair of socks. I keep these like pretty accessible. Sometimes I'll even swap out my pair of shoes, which I'll talk about in just a second. These are the 2 pairs that I have. Skechers and Topos, I think is actually the pronunciation. Neither were sponsored, so take it with a grain of salt. But I do like them quite a bit. These are a little bit heavier. They are trail runners, so they're not as heavy or as durable as hiking boots, but they are more lightweight than them overall. They're pretty sturdy, and these are going to be really crucial for the steeper inclines that will be a part of the Northern California experience, especially the Day of Paradise itself. That is a walk that I'm not looking forward to. The Skechers are more the daily drivers. These are, walking, running shoes, whatever, pretty comfortable. I do find that little pebbles and things sometimes do get inside, which sucks. But as long as I'm really careful, to be honest with you, I think it's less that I'm getting them as I'm using them and more like I'm bringing them in with me and I'm not cleaning them off very well. So whatever, that's not a slide against Skechers, but that is an annoying thing I've noticed. The cool thing about 2 pairs of shoes, I mean, one, it is annoying because it's more weight that you're carrying, but if you alternate shoes, which I tend to do, you will allow them to last longer because the way that shoes are designed, they've got a bit of a, I don't know what you would call it, an ergonomic shape to them that sort of like presses down with weight and the shape gets restored when you don't use them. So by not just putting constant stress on them, day after day out, you can definitely make them last longer. I do suspect that I will have to change one or maybe even both of these shoes at some point. I am not confident that they will last the entirety of the trip, but considering I'm alternating fairly often, it also wouldn't surprise me if they did. And last but not least, absolutely crucial, my Sound Oasis sleeping mask. I love darkness. I will wake up to the tiniest bit of sunlight. They're comfy as can be. They even have like a little blue and red light you can put, by hitting a button. I love them. They're excellent. So yeah, gang, that is everything that I packed. I guess for fun, I'll show you the backpack itself. This is the Lancer Coalax. This part is naked because I took the battery out. That needs to go. I was really bummed. I did not have the wherewithal to give that to my folks. If I can find a drop-off spot to safely drop it off, I will. I mean, honestly, I think this is kind of that's a generic port. I don't know how necessary like this specific battery is. So if I have to drop it, I certainly will. Depends on just how tired I get. And then this guy right here was a gift from the Kuban's family friends. I believe it's a Lululemon bag, so, bougie. And then we got 2 ponchos in here as well, which I guess I should have shown earlier. That was also a gift from them, which is smart. I live in Southern California. I'm not used to the rain. I don't really expect the rain, but it's that time of year. It is Central California and Northern California. It probably will rain at some point on my trip. So ponchos are great because they're not heavy. They're pretty, reusable or disposable, depending on how you want to go about it. And I got one for myself and one for the bag too. Finally, this is my DJI gimbal. You can put your phone in it and stabilize the footage. I thought that I would be using this much more than I am, and that is because I thought I would be live streaming much more than I am. I have found that I'm just too tired to consistently keep up a conversation or be entertaining. I find that the internet is not always reliable. It's a little bit spotty in some cases. So rather than do a bunch of halfway streams, I'm just focusing on the vlog style content. So shout out to everyone who is watching these long form videos. I know many of you know me from Twitch or from YouTube streams, but that's how it is. And yep, we've got a lot of pouches. So even though that seems like quite a bit of stuff on the table, it fits in here perfectly. And it's great that you've got this for the easily accessible stuff. I just throw it on the strap of my front side. We got my lucky penny I found in the middle of the road. That's going to keep me safe, so I'm not even worried about safety whatsoever. And then, of course, we got sock swapping. That's where this stuff goes. And then, the stuff that you don't use all the time is down there. So, yeah, that is my setup. Let me know if you have any questions. I would love to engage in the comments or on the GoFundMe page or whatever. Thank you very much for listening. Again, we're only, day 4, approaching day 5. This is going to take easily 40 days, possibly longer, though 40 days would be really cool. My goal is to end this before Thanksgiving. If you resonate with what I'm doing, please do share our GoFundMe page and our story with other folks. I'm just a one-man show doing the best I can, trying to keep things fun and entertaining and keep you guys updated as well. So shout out to all of you. Much love, and I'll catch you later.